Hello, hello. And we are live. So I'm just gonna wait a couple of seconds for people to jump on, and I think I might tag a couple people also. Oops. And I think we are good. I just wanted to tag a couple people who I knew wanted to check this out. So hello, hello. So I haven't been live on this page in a while, so I'm just going to briefly introduce myself. So my name is Ashley Janae. I am a feminine energy life coach for women, and my focus is love and relationships and dating. So my background is in social work, mental health, and leadership. So I really enjoy training. I really enjoy coaching women and working with them one-on-one or in group settings. And my goal is to help women who are successful, smart, who really desire to have a beautiful, loving relationship in their lives, but they can't quite figure out what the issue is. They keep hitting roadblocks. They keep not being able to manifest relationships that actually turn into something serious. So maybe they get stuck in the beginning stages of dating, or they get stuck in serial dating and the relationships, never progress, or they get stuck being, a girlfriend for years and years and years, and they want to be wives, they want something more committed, and it just doesn't progress. So that's basically become one of my life missions. I'm deeply tied to this. I myself struggled. I was basically single for most of my 20s, and the struggle led me to the coaches that I worked with, the books that I read, all the studying that I did on relationships and femininity, feminine power, human interaction, spirituality, all of that. So basically my coaching practice is the magnum opus of all of the study and the training, and even the hard knocks and the life experiences that I've gone through and that I've seen other women that I know go through as well. So yeah, I'm here to help. I really enjoy it. It is one of the greatest joys of my life, is talking about relationships and helping women, and helping uncover blocks and things that they may not be aware of, or offering a different perspective to help you get the results you want. Because at the end of the day, I want to see women actually being happy, not so many single women and single moms feeling like love is a dead end, or men are dogs, or men are bad, or that no one's getting in relationships anymore, that there's this culture of men don't want to commit and all of that. I really feel like if we shift the way that we look at reality and shift the way that we show up, we can have a different result, because people are still getting married every day. People are still getting in relationships every day, and knowing the secrets of femininity and how to actually be in relationships and how to attract those healthier partners or healthy relationships, that can actually set you apart. So you know, we're living in a time where there's not a lot of women that are operating in that. You know, they may be starting to wake up, but we're definitely in that social media, instant gratification type of age as well. So for the women that are led to me, you know, I'm here as a resource, and I desire to help. So definitely reach out and, you know, see if after you watch this training, if any of it resonates with you. If you feel like, you know, you're feeling my vibe or you want to know more, definitely feel free to reach out. I'm totally here for you. So without further ado, let me hop into the training. I'm trying to see if I see I have a couple viewers, but I don't see any comments. So if you're watching, if you could just comment and say hi, just so I can greet you properly. And thank you for joining me. And if you are watching the replay, just hashtag replay. And one thing I will ask is I'd like to know where everybody's watching from. So if you would comment after you say hi, just where you're watching from, that'd be great. Thank you. And let's get into tonight's topic, which is 7 steps to manifest love. Okay, so this was a big, huge focus of mine. Everything that I'm sharing is principles that I've personally applied, that I have encouraged my clients to apply, and I've seen it work for them. I've seen it work for other women as well. So it's proven. It's not a personal opinion type of thing. It's actually, you know, this is stuff that works, but it's not all what you would think you should do. Some of it is counterintuitive. So I just ask you to listen with an open mind, be willing to see things differently, and consider what's being presented. And, you know, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, you know, as my best friend would say, chew the meat, spit out the bones type of deal. So, all right. So your first step to manifest love, and we have Kim Montague watching. Hi, that's my aunt. Hello, thank you for tuning in. And I see Tiffany is, no, not Tiffany, that's actually Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne. And someone else, I can't tell by your photo who you are, but thank you for tuning in too. All right, so first step is getting your mind right. So what do I mean by that? Getting your mind right involves wrapping your mindset and your psyche around having a relationship and allowing love into your life. Okay, so the first step of creating anything is you need to know where you're going with it. You need to know exactly what it is that you want. So achieving clarity is really important. You want to be able to write down and actually like script out exactly what it is that you're looking for. Dating or meeting people kind of haphazardly and, you know, just going by how you feel in the moment is not really a results-oriented approach. So it's like if you were baking a cake, you need to know what you're actually baking. You know, you don't just want to throw together a bunch of ingredients and see what happens. You need to know what your desired result is and what you're looking for and why. So I always recommend being able to write down the qualities that you're looking for in a partner, and also how you want to feel and the kind of relationship you want. So qualities you want in a partner, how you want to feel, and the kind of relationship you want to experience. Okay, so take some time. Don't, you know, like rush yourself to scribble all that down in 5 minutes. Really take some time and think about it. And whenever I'm journaling, it takes me a long time because I usually am trying to be so thorough and detail oriented that I end up coming back a few times after I think about something or another idea dawns on me, because you have to, you know, kind of look at it like you're placing an order with the universe. This is what you're asking for. You know, you're putting it down in writing, you're making it formal, you're making it official. So be really thorough and comprehensive with what you are writing down on your wants list. Okay. The next thing that you're going to do to get your mind right is you need to identify limiting beliefs and patterns of thought that you have that are not serving you, that are not conducive to you actually having a relationship or keeping a relationship. So some women have a story playing in their mind that says, I can meet men, but I just can't get them to commit. Or I always meet cheaters, or men always ghost me, or I always want a relationship more than a man does. So I find myself chasing men a lot. I find myself rejected a lot. Yvonne says, stop thinking you're not enough. Yes, that's exactly one of the ones that's very common. Not feeling worthy. You've maybe seen your mom had failed relationships, or she's unmarried, or she went through a divorce. So you have a programming that's subconsciously running in your mind that makes you think you're going to repeat that. Men are dogs, all men cheat. Men don't want relationships. They just want, casual sex and, no labels. All of those thoughts that you have that are playing on repeat in the back of your mind are actually subconscious programming that is affecting your actions and the energy that you carry. So if you bring those beliefs into a new situation, you actually are infusing that programming into your situation. And nothing is more important to our brain than to find danger and to actually be right about what we thought was dangerous. So sometimes we will think a situation is a problem, or we will think it's a dangerous situation when it's not, but our brain is trying to keep us safe. So you will be overly hyper vigilant. You will interpret certain situations to mean there's a threat for danger, like this man's going to treat me bad. He doesn't like me, he doesn't find me attractive, he's not going to commit, he's going to, do whatever it is I don't want him to do. And it actually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because that's what you are repeating, and that's influencing your behavior. And that's literally your attraction point, because that's what you're carrying. You're carrying the energy of, I expect to be rejected. I expect to be treated poorly. I expect that this is not going to work out. I've gone on 4 other dates in the last couple of months, and all those guys ghosted me within the first couple of weeks. So I expect that that's going to happen again. Even if that's not what you want, if you're carrying that energy, a lot of times that's what you will see. Or you will actually infuse that belief so much that you create that. So even if it wasn't going that way initially, you can turn the tides, because that's where you are vibrating at. Okay. So basically, what you can do to reprogram those beliefs that I identified and that we were talking about is meditation. There's several different methods. Meditation is one. NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, is another one. Hypnosis, okay, is another way. There's lots of other modalities that you can utilize as well, that like someone like a coach, or maybe even a mental health professional can help you reframe some of those beliefs. But it takes conscious work. It's not just, a one and done type of thing, because if you think about it, you've been thinking that thought over and over for a while. So it's pretty ingrained in there. It's imprinted in your mind. So the work you're doing is releasing that old thought and then reprogramming in a new thought that's the opposite. So you have to allow some time for the neural pathways in your brain to actually rewire and change, and for the new idea to take root. So that's why things like meditation or NLP, that's working with the subconscious mind, or hypnosis, that's why they're so effective, because it's got to get deep in there in your mindset. Yvonne says our thoughts are more powerful than we think. We totally are. Our thoughts are like literally creating our behavior and creating our reality, and they impact the energy that we bring to a situation. They impact our emotions. They impact how people experience us. So it is really a big deal what's going on in our brain. Okay, the next step for getting your mind right is healing your baggage. So any client that I work with, inevitably, as we're talking, it ends up coming up that they have some baggage that hasn't been cleared from the past. So I always advocate for therapy. Now, there are some people who are apprehensive, or maybe even in their culture, therapy is considered taboo. It's, we don't do that. We just pray, or, I'm not crazy, so I don't need to see a therapist. And the bottom line is, if your mental health is not right, if your mindset is not right, you will sabotage a relationship. Even if you are very well intentioned, you cannot carry a plane full of baggage into a new situation and expect it to be healthy. And a lot of times we're carrying around stuff not just from previous relationships, but from childhood. So we're playing out certain dynamics that happened to us as children, and we are trying to basically stage the same scenario from when we were kids, but have it play out differently as adults. So sometimes we're choosing partners that are representative of our parents in our lives, or our caregivers, or that remind us of certain situations from when we were children. And we want to see the ending go differently this time now as adults. But if you don't have the tools to make it differently, and if you don't know exactly where you're going with it, like, you haven't unpacked it, you haven't made peace with it, you don't have a different set of programming running through your mind, you're still thinking those same thoughts that you thought when you were 5 in that situation, it's going to turn out the same. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing but expecting different results. So if you still have that 5-year-old mindset, which a lot of people do, unless you've intentionally done the work to change it, you will have the same outcome. So just being aware of things like that. So therapy can help change that. Hypnosis is another thing that can help change and help you release and make peace with and accept some of that baggage and let it go. Acupuncture, so actually moving energy out of your body, because trauma is stored in our cells. It's actually stored in our body. Our cells remember trauma that we've gone through, and it stays with you unless you consciously release it. So it's not just a mental thing. It actually gets caught in your body. Reiki healing is another way, coaching, meditation, energy work. So those are all modalities that can assist with you healing your baggage so that you can go into a new love situation with a fresh perspective, an open mind, and a heart that's actually ready to love, okay, and ready to receive love. And lastly, make your manifestation a priority. Okay, so I work with some women who they don't want to commit to the process, and I have to ask them and ask them to ask themselves, how serious are they about this? Because sometimes you think you want something, but it's tested when you have to put something on the line, when you have to consciously choose to do the work, when you have to schedule the therapy session, when you have to invest in coaching or books, or spend time watching videos or doing meditations and things like that. That's when it's really tested. How serious are you about it? If you think about anybody in life who has done something great, or wanted to become a master at something, or was trying to create something that they didn't know how to do before, they had to become a student of it. So that means they had to invest time, effort, money, attention, not just once or twice, but over a consistent period of time in order to see change. The same with working out or dieting, losing weight, same thing. It's not just a one-time deal. It's not just when you're in crisis. You're not going to see lasting change approaching it that way. So definitely wrap your mind around, do I really want this right now? If I don't, why? Sometimes, we're afraid because we know that there's inner work that has to be done and we're not quite ready. So I say you'll be ready when you're ready, you'll know. But also for us as women, especially if, you desire to have children, that is something that is time sensitive. We cannot give birth well into our senior years, whereas men, they can continue to conceive children, well into their senior years. And a lot of us, we are not necessarily wanting to go through life alone. Maybe we're already raising children alone, and we want to go into the second half of our lives, or the second third of our lives, and we want to have a partner and companion, someone to go on vacation with and buy a home with, and build a family. So I would advise anyone who knows that they have some getting their mind right to do, but is delaying it or putting it off, what are you costing yourself? What are you putting on the line? What are you risking by continuing to delay that? Could your children benefit from having that positive male influence in the home, in their lives, and seeing you loved and seeing you be in a healthy, happy relationship? Every day that we live is a day we don't, get back. So think about it. Think about what you're holding yourself apart from. Sometimes you do think that you're not worthy or that it won't work, but I always say that the leap of faith is worth it. You know, you won't be the one person that it doesn't work for. You just have to just lean in and do it. You just have to start. You know, you don't have to know all of the steps and how you'll get there and how it's all going to unfold. Just take that leap of faith and just start. Okay. And feeling good is very important. When you're trying to attract something good, you need to be in a place that feels good. If you think about it, it actually doesn't logically make sense that you would create something beautiful from a really horrible, desperate, sad, pitiful feeling place. So if you're feeling any kind of negativity around your love life or your life in general, you really want to turn that around, because like attracts like. So you want to be in a positive place when you're trying to create a beautiful new relationship in your life, as opposed to one that doesn't feel good, because inevitably you're going to attract negativity if you're in a negative mindset. Okay, so that sums up step one. All right, so body. So getting your body right. So what I mean by that is you want to focus on number one, and you know, this is sometimes taboo to share, so know that I mean it in love, but you know, my goal and my mission is to be honest with you. So you want to work on becoming as physically attractive as possible for the type of man that you want to attract. Okay, in general, we know what men like, and you know the type of guy you like. You know, if not, then you know, see step one, get clear on that. So once you figure out what the kind of man you wants, then it would behoove you to align yourself as much as possible without, you know, like entirely changing who you are, with the kind of woman that he's looking for. So, and this ties into just general attractiveness and wellness. Okay, so as women, our femininity and our looks is our currency. Okay, so having a lot of money, being very accomplished, having a very extensive education, having a great job, those things don't get us as far in the dating market as they get men. Because a man who's established, who has a good career of his own, who has a home of his own, a car of his own and all that, he's not looking for a woman to provide for him. He's looking for a woman to bring very specific things into his life, and oftentimes it's not the things that we think give us extra value. So we may have invested a lot of time in our job, in our education, and buying a home, and being able to say that we're independent, we're taking care of our kids, we're taking care of ourselves, we're doing our thing. But if your relationship skills suck, if your soft skills suck, if you are masculine energy, that's going to be repelling. And the man's not going to care about your resume and the things that you think, you know, make you a hot ticket, someone that a man would want to take out or would want to have a relationship with. Okay, so when we're talking about getting your body right, that ties into your diet, your exercise habits, your grooming, your dress, your image on and offline. And you know, men love femininity. You know, the world loves a beautiful woman, and there is no one definition of beauty. It's an inner radiance that shines. And I've talked to lots of women who, I mean, I even at one point, especially, you know, after quarantine or during quarantine, you know, we can kind of let ourselves go and think certain things aren't important. And it's like, I'm not getting dressed, I'm not putting on makeup, I'm not really doing my hair and all that stuff. But if you are a single woman, you don't want to be going out just willy-nilly looking like whatever, because you don't know who you might run into. You don't know if your future husband might be seeing you, or if there's a man who would consider you while you're out and about and you're not presenting your best. A lot of times when we're not looking our best, we're not feeling our best either. And that doesn't mean you have to be in a ball gown with a full beat face of makeup. Maybe a little bit of light makeup, or, you know, just doing something to yourself. I'll just leave it at that. You know when you're putting in effort and when you're not. And again, if you are on the marketplace, if you're looking for a partner, it would make sense for you to make what you have to bring to the table, what you're offering, as attractive as possible. The same as if you were like selling your house. You wouldn't just say, well, you know, the people that are going to look at the house and consider buying it, they just need to come in and accept however it looks. No, you would clean up, right? You would declutter, you would make it smell good, you'd vacuum, you'd dust, you know, whatever, because you want someone to be interested in what you have to offer. So same thing with yourself. So just consider those things. And also, you know, our weight, our fitness, things like that. Those things subconsciously communicate to men our, it's like a biological thing. So there are certain traits that men and women look at in mates that let us know whether or not this person would produce healthy offspring. So it's things that, you know, a lot of us aren't consciously aware of, like the whites of someone's eyes or the width of a woman's hips, a man's height, things like that. That tells us, if I mate with him, I can produce strong offspring. Now, we may be looking at these traits in each other and not even wanting to have kids. You may have kids, you may have your tubes tied, you may not want any more kids, but you're subconsciously assessing the man's fitness to mate with based on those criteria, and the same is true for men. So it doesn't mean that you have to be, you know, stick skinny or anything like that. To the contrary, you know, a lot of men tend to like, you know, somewhat of a soft look, but we also know you have to be honest with yourself when you're beyond soft, when you know you're technically you're overweight or you're carrying more weight than looks good on your frame. So just be honest with yourself about that. You know, diet, exercise, all of that communicates a message about how we take care of ourselves and how we value ourselves. And, you know, we don't tend to find laziness or poor grooming or poor self-care attractive in men. And it's the same thing when it comes to them viewing us, and maybe even more so with us, because again, our looks and our youth and our femininity is our currency. Whereas men's ability to provide and secure you as a woman and secure the family is their currency in dating. So adding feminine touches like dresses, you know, sometimes, or skirts, things like that. Getting your nails done. It doesn't have to be, you know, a crazy loud color. It could be French manicure or light or even clear. Just, you know, nails, you know, taken care of, given some attention. Maybe a little light makeup, you know, a tinted moisturizer or something, because I know everything's not for everybody. But again, we're talking about fixing yourself up. Men tend to like little hair accessories, flowers in your hair, things like that. A lot of people don't do that on a day-to-day, but these are just things that men find feminine and attractive and alluring when we're talking about the physical appearance. Okay, your fragrance, whites of your teeth, whites of your eyes. You know, obviously the lighter, the brighter, the healthier you appear. It's not just a shallow thing. You appear healthier. Okay, so also colors to consider that tend to be attractive or alluring on women to men are red. Red was the top color. Pink, black, green, blue, peach, gold, and silver. Okay, and a couple of colors I saw that were the opposite were like purple and teal and some other color I forgot, but yeah, so those were like the opposite of what men typically find like attractive. Not to say you can't wear it, but I'm just letting you know, I'm just a messenger. And as far as scents, vanilla, jasmine, floral scents, ginger, sandalwood, amber, and neroli. Okay, so those are scents that tend to evoke an attraction in a man towards a woman when he smells those scents. So you can pick those up in a fragrance or an essential oil or something like that to increase your level of attractiveness around men. Okay. Another thing to get your body right would be to balance your hormones. So I want to encourage women, this is, you know, definitely a conversation to have with your doctor, but for a lot of women, them being on birth control has caused a hormonal imbalance, and it's hard to be emotionally balanced when you have something in your body that's throwing you off. So it's a good idea to explore that with your physician to see, hey, am I feeling kind of moody or off or snappy or depressed or whatever because of this thing that's in my body and it's not actually me. And I just got a comment. Oh, I've gotten a few comments that I haven't even been reading. I'm sorry. Brandy said, I despise the thought of buying a home by myself. Yeah, totally. I mean, it feels good as far as saying that you've accomplished this, but just like a lot of things in life, they say, you know, it doesn't mean as much without someone to share it with. And you can share it with your kids, but you could also share it with your kids and your partner and have somebody who's going to help you take care of the home and help you bear the burden of paying the bills and, you know, all of the home improvements and fixing things and all that. So, you know, I mean, there's plus and minuses to it, but there's a reason why that's, you know, the model that is considered the standard would be like a couple taking on life together, as opposed to, you know, a woman just taking everything on her back and, you know, bearing the masculine and the feminine role and doing everything on her own. So let me get back to getting your body right. So yes, balancing your hormones, decreasing stress. Stress can cause your hormones to be out of whack. You may want to supplement your nutrition. So looking at, you know, is your vitamin D low? Is your body lacking anything? Definitely detoxing and eating higher vibrational foods. So, you know, putting junk in, you can feel, you know, crappy. So, you know, just consider that. Drinking more water, alkaline water with fresh lemon is the best, in my opinion. And exercise, even if it's just walking, getting more sunlight, and getting better and more sleep or rest is a good way to get your body right so that you can actually be at your best and show up to the new opportunity for relationship in a good place, that you're not already, you know, fighting an uphill battle because there's all this stuff going on in you where, you know, you're trying to balance your mood and not have an attitude, and, you know, you're already going out in the world and you're on a 6, you know, and it doesn't take much to send you over the edge. Also cleaning your house. So like feng shuiing your environment to release stagnant energy and make space for what it is that you want. So some things you can do for that would be like having more plants in your home, living plants, real plants is what I mean. And aromatherapy, so like having an oil diffuser or even just some nice plugins if you're not into like the essential oils and stuff. Calm running water, so like a fountain, things like that. Like those sounds are calming and soothing. Certain colors on your walls, so creating a soothing ambiance in your home so that is where you are finding your sanctuary. That's where you're resting, that's where you're recharging, and you're in a peaceful space. And even images that are soothing, so having like wall pictures and things like that. So really look at your space. If it's cluttered, if it's something that you don't feel relaxed in, you're really not recharging. So you want to look at that, because all of that's impacting how you're going out in the world. And lastly, creating space for your man. So pro tip, write this down. One thing that I did when I was ready to manifest love was I got matching items. So I started staging my room as if I already had that man in my life. So I used to have just one nightstand in my bed. I bought a second matching nightstand. I decorated it. I put a picture of myself on what would be my guy's nightstand, because I envisioned that that's what he would do. I had a toothbrush for him. I had like a brush, I think, what else did I have? Like a shirt or something like that. And I started sleeping on one side of the bed. So I made room in my life. Another thing you can do is make room in your closet. So you're telling the universe you want a man to come into your life, into your home and be with you, but you haven't made room in your life for that person. So it's not like confident expectation. So that is a pro tip that I feel like really worked. I mean, that's what I'm living now. So I can remember doing that, and that was just a few short years ago. But we've been living together for about 3 years already. So But yeah, it wasn't long from when I did that to when the situation actually manifested in my life. Okay, so that was step 2. I'm gonna try to not ramble on and on because I didn't want this to be a super long video, but I want to tell you guys all this stuff because it's good stuff. So the next step is getting your spirit right. Okay, so you need to make it a priority to align with the energy of what you desire daily. Okay, so some steps you can take to do that are doing daily gratitude. So writing down at least 3 to 5, if not more, things that you're grateful for each day, and actually giving thanks for the things that you're manifesting as if you've already manifested them. That's another pro tip, because the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. If you speak about it as if it's already happened in your subconscious mind, it's real. If you're visualizing it, if you are believing it, if you're giving thanks in advance, like thank you that I've already gotten this thing that I wanted, thank you for my happy marriage, and you're rehearsing that over and over, your brain wraps around that reality. Okay, meditation, again, can't emphasize that enough. Quieting the mind, dropping the ego, learning how to be and be in peace. That's important. So personal development, so that would be like watching videos and listening to positive things. If you really look at how you spend your time, a lot of us, we're on social media, we're watching Netflix, we are maybe not necessarily spending our time as wisely as we could if we're trying to create something. And anything that's super important to you is going to take up time. You know, it's not always going to take up as much time as it is when you're trying to get it going and get it started. But I guess just like a baby, you know, when the baby's small, it requires a lot of nurturing, it requires a lot of attention from you. And as the child gets older, the attention that's required is different. You know, it's a little bit less hands-on, and it's more, you know, it's a different way that you need to be present. But yeah, your relationship, your desired reality and love is a baby right now, so you are going to have to be very intentional and consistent with it. Prayer, I'm big on prayer. Books, so any books you can read about relationships, about spirituality, about femininity, I recommend you become a student of that. Positive videos, working with coaches, things like that. I'm always a big proponent of that, so you don't have to figure everything out on your own. So you actually have a guide, someone to help make it easier for you, so you're not trying to DIY everything in life. Take this seriously. As far as spiritual goes, at least that's the standpoint that I teach from. You know, not everybody has the same spiritual or religious beliefs, and this is not about that, but I believe we're created. I believe that we're all connected, and I believe in having divine intervention and the power of the Most High and the support of the Most High in my life. I've seen it make huge differences in my life and the lives of many women and people that I've worked with, or that I've been in relationship with, or just known. So I would be remiss if I didn't include that. So the power of prayer, the power of asking God to assist you, to open your eyes, to heal your heart, to align you, to support you, is unmatched, in my opinion. And it's definitely the secret sauce. That's not secret, but makes a difference from you struggling to do something of your own will and actually having divine favor, divine opportunities, things that come up that are not coincidences, and you're being blessed, and that the universe is on your side. Also, there are rituals you can do. So I'm into a whole bunch of different things. A ritual would be like something that you do that's symbolic. Okay, so one thing that I do is on full moons, I do a burn ritual. So I write down everything that I want to release and burn the paper, and that's symbolic of releasing it and letting it go. And it's not required in order to do that, but it's a great mind-body connection. And again, it's symbolic, just like the wedding ring is symbolic of being married. So we tend as people to like symbols. So doing these things definitely helps get your energy behind what you're trying to create and call in, and just helps you raise your vibration around it. So some rituals that I would suggest are like burn rituals on full and new moons, scripting, journal prompts, repetitive writing, using crystals, sage, candles, oils to enhance your intentions, um, visuals, so visual aids or making vision boards and things like that. Putting positive images in front of you. So as a caveat to that, be careful what you watch, listen to, and talk about. It is programming. So again, if you're watching a lot of shows where there's a lot of like infidelity or women are being treated bad or relationships are going sour, again, you're programming all of that in your mind. You're taking things in, not just through your mouth, but through your eyes, through your ears. It's all getting into you. So just be mindful of that and how it might be working against what you're trying to create. Okay, so that was step 3. Step 4 is your behavior. Okay, so get your behavior right. So there's just a list I wrote down at 1 in the morning this morning when I was feeling inspired. So I'm just going to go down the list of some things that you want to stop doing and things that you want to do more of. Okay, so things to stop doing that turn men off: clinginess, desperation, mothering, criticism, pushing for more in the relationship directly. You can influence, but what I mean by pushing directly is like demanding, okay? Complaining, being unhappy in general, having a bad attitude, trying to lead a man, okay? Being overly suspicious, not having your own life and options, especially if you're dating, okay? Imposing your expectations on a man, bragging, competing with him, leaning forward. What I mean by leaning forward is trying to make things happen, trying to push the relationship forward of your own will. So that would involve trying to court him, calling him, texting him, initiating communication, trying to initiate dates, trying to advance the relationship, telling him, oh, we should be this. Don't you feel like we should? It's been this long, you know, trying to coax and coerce him to do what you want him to do. So that would be leaning forward. You're not leaning back and just receiving what he's bringing forth and what he's offering. Okay. Being in your masculine energy and being loud or attention seeking. Those are things that are generally turn-offs for men, okay? So things you want to do more of that turn men on would be being emotionally stable. So something I tell my clients, emotional mastery is king. That will make you so alluring and such a different and dynamic woman if you actually have some mastery over your emotions, your behavior, and just how you show up to certain situations. But that takes practice, and relationships are triggering. So you have to learn that with yourself first. So practice on yourself. Being easy to talk to, being easy to be with, going with his leadership. So that involves trust, trusting his leadership, being submissive. I know submissive can be a buzzword, but basically it's the same thing that I just said, submitting to his leadership, allowing him to be the head. You're the neck, he's the head. Doesn't mean that he's more important than you. It means he has a different level of responsibility. Just like Joe Biden has a different level of responsibility than Kamala Harris. Doesn't mean he's a better person or more important. It just means they have different roles. Okay, so you have to understand your role as a woman, and your role is important. You have to play your position because no one else is going to, because he's playing his position. So don't focus so much on what he's doing that you want to be doing. Focus on what is in front of you and play that full out. Okay, showing appreciation, being inspirational and positive, being fun and relaxed. Okay, being confident, being alluring, and a bit mysterious. So what goes along with that is talking less, not spilling your guts and your feelings and having emotional outbursts and being kind of like a volcano and just spewing out whatever you feel the need to say. Learn how to control that. That's what girlfriends and therapists are for. All of that doesn't need to go on your man, is because, you know, first of all, men don't tend to be as emotionally in tune and in touch as we are. So a lot of emotions tend to overwhelm them. And that makes it stressful communicating with you, and therefore not as pleasant being around you. Okay? Treating yourself well. Okay? Leaning back. Being warm and receptive. Moving slower and more sensually. So not being a busybody all over the place and into everything. You know, just kind of be elegant and glide and, you know, savor your food, savor your wine, savor the moment, lean back, relax, rest your back against the couch, like chill, you know, being more in your feminine energy, being calm and grabbing attention with your presence rather than your mouth. Okay. You want to embody the energy of a woman who walks in a room and heads turn and she hasn't said a word. It's just her presence that grabs you. It's the way she carries herself. It's her energy is radiant. It's attractive. And we've all met women like that, and they all looked different. You know, it's not like, oh, that's only for Beyonce or, you know, I don't know, J-Lo or somebody. No, any woman can embody that. It's an embodiment. It's an energy you hold within. Okay. Being captivating, creating emotional safety, you know, for a man. And you create that by being safe within your own emotions. So again, working that out, doing the inner work first. Having a plenty of fish in the sea mindset. So then you're not desperate. You're not trying to force any one man to fit the mold. You're just here to observe and see who he is and meet him and have a good experience tonight. You don't have an agenda. If he's not the one, if he's not fit for a relationship with you or y'all aren't a match, you're not going to be heartbroken over it because there's plenty of fish in the sea. Okay. Dating cyclically. So like having a cycle of dating. I always encourage women date more than one guy when you are not in a committed relationship, because when you have just one guy you're focused on, you tend to overinvest and you put too many expectations on that relationship or that situation where you just met the guy to actually turn into something. You're expecting him to call you and text you all the time and to start pursuing you heavily. And, you know, you have to allow things time to incubate and grow. And in the meantime, you need to be out mixing and mingling, because you're a single woman, you're on the market. Your goal is relationship. Your goal is to be married. It only makes sense that you would allow yourself as many options as possible. Now, this doesn't mean that you're sleeping with multiple men. It just means that you are open to love however it comes into your life, okay? Being in touch with your feelings and processing them productively. So again, knowing how to feel what you feel, so you're in touch with it, but you don't always need to process it by talking to the man. Sometimes you can process it within, take it to your therapist, take it to a girlfriend or whoever, if she's helpful, if that process is helpful, and maybe sharing your resolution. Or if you do share with him your feelings, it's in a way that is not going to start drama. Okay, you're just sharing where you're at from a vulnerable place and not from a trying to manipulate you with my feelings type of place. Okay, doing your inner work and being your best self, which conversely inspires a man to be his best self. Okay, so a lot of times the things we want to get men to do, they can become inspired by seeing us actually doing those things for ourselves and not doing it with the agenda of trying to get him to do it, but just being in our own life, in our own body, stepping ourselves up, taking care of ourselves, being happy with it, and just accepting him where he's at and as he is. And as he sees us being happy, doing the things that we're doing for ourselves, a lot of times they get inspired, like, hey, you know, maybe I should, like my fiance just said, he's like, oh, you know, I think I'm going to go back to school. I just graduated with my master's last week, and now he's saying he's, you know, thinking about going back to school. So I never told him to go back to school. You know, of course I'm going to support it, but bottom line is, you know, you can inspire your partner, but you definitely don't want to like be pushing and coercing, you know, accept who they are and where they're at. So, and then another way you're going to get your behavior right is to embody the energy of the version of you that's already in a happy, committed relationship now. So think about, how does that version of you, like close your eyes and visualize, how does that version of you dress, talk, walk, be? How does she think? How does she live? What does her home look like? What does her car look like? What kind of job does she have? Just where is she at? What is her energy? What is her essence? And once you're able to visualize that and feel into that, start aligning yourself now with that. Become that woman, and your life will become the life that she has. Okay, it's really, it sounds simple, but it's really true. You have to literally get good as an adult when you're trying to manifest at tapping into your imagination and making it real, like calling it into reality. So feel into that version of yourself and start taking steps to align with that version of you. So if you envision yourself being a wife that, dresses well and, gets her hair done, start doing that now. Do it however you can. Don't let limitations like, oh, well, money and time, find a way to fit it in, find a way to make it work, even if it's not at the level that it would be once you're there. The fact that you're taking the step, the fact that you are aligning as closely as is possible for you with that version of yourself, that sends a signal to the universe that you are ready for it. Okay. All right, so we are on our last 3 tips. Let me know if y'all have any questions. I'd be happy to answer if anything I've said was unclear or if you want me to elaborate. Okay, so your next step is get in front of people. So you want to be open when you're out and about. So what that means is, I used to have this thing where I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want men approaching me. I felt uncomfortable. I felt unsafe. I felt put on the spot and I didn't like it. But I was also wanting a relationship, and the two just conflicted because I was out in the world and I was trying to hide. I was making a beeline for whatever I was there in Walmart or whatever store to get and heading out. And sometimes I'd be with people like, friends or family, and they'd be like, did you see that guy looking at you? And I'm like, no, what guy? I didn't see anything, because I didn't want to be seen. So ask yourself, are you open when you're out and about? Are you open to be approached? Is your energy open? Are you very closed off? Do you have a wall up? Are you protecting yourself? Are you in a cocoon? Those kinds of things will keep the bad people out, but they'll also keep the good people out too. So keep that in mind. Smile and accept compliments. Smiling is very underrated. It communicates to a man, because men, sometimes they get nervous to approach us too, especially if you're walking around looking mean, or you have, the resting bee face by default. Just be aware of how people might be perceiving you and receiving you. The image that you're giving off, that's important, especially if, you desire to be approached, you desire to meet somebody. No one is eager to approach someone who doesn't look friendly or who looks like they're gonna bite your head off if you try to talk to them. So smiling, or even just smizing, giving the smile with your eyes, do that, because now we're wearing masks. So but just embodying that warm, open energy. So some people are really opposed to online dating, but nowadays that's where it's at. That's popping. So there are still people who are meeting in person, but I would say if you're really trying to fast track your love life, I would be open to all avenues. So online dating, you decide which sites, you go on. There's some that are more extensive as far as asking what you're looking for and doing personality tests and all that. And there's some that even cost more. And then there's the free ones. Maybe try them all out. Maybe start with the free. And if you're not liking the options or what you're seeing, maybe, step it up and be willing to pay. There's also matchmakers, speed dating, blind dates. So letting people that you know and trust set you up with people that they know and trust. That's, always a good way to meet someone that's already been vetted, that, is safe. And, always do your due diligence with the online dating stuff, background checks and letting people know where you're meeting folks. Don't, put yourself at risk. And going to events, obviously. again, with that open energy that I'm willing to be approached, I'm willing to meet someone new, I'm receptive. Also, let me see. Yeah, I just said be smart and safe, but trust yourself and trust your intuition and God to steer you right, and be open to new experiences as learning opportunities. Every guy is not meant to become your man, and that's okay. Learn and enjoy the experience anyway. Okay, the more men you interact with, the more comfortable you'll become, the more you'll fine tune what you want. You'll have cool experiences, if he's buying, which hopefully, he is, courting you. You're getting a meal and an evening out, and you get to dress cute, and, you get to kind of practice being with a man and having that interaction, and just, try to enjoy it. It doesn't have to be anything more than what it is, which is, two people sharing a meal or two people going to the movies or whatever. Try not to put too much on it too soon, because every man is not going to become a relationship. Every man is not meant for you. That's just the bottom line. The same way that everything you pick up in the store that you think is cute, that you take into the fitting room, is not going to look good. And we already know that. As women, there are some items that, said that they were our size or looked cute on the hanger. Once we tried it on, it wasn't a fit. No harm, no foul. You're just not for me, and just move on. But you will find your one. Just keep at it. Do it until it works. Okay. Next step is get help. So again, be open to help, be open to advice. I would advise, if you're going to work with an expert, which I would advise, to be coachable, to don't come into the situation thinking that you've tried everything, everything, not being willing to submit to the process and try something different, try something new. There are a lot of people that know something in their head, but they don't actually know it to the point that they live it. And that is the difference between like a surface level knowing and a true knowing, where it's programmed into you. So you can know it in your head, and maybe you've heard it before, but if you're not living that way, and here's the real kicker, if you don't have your desired results, you don't know it too well. Okay, so if you're not where you want to be in your love life, and there's someone who can guide you, or someone who is where you would like to be, or they have the blueprint and the steps, submit, allow yourself to be led, and pray over the situation. Choose who you're going to work with. Use your discernment. Ask for guidance. Use your intuition when you're choosing. But then go with it. It can be scary, but it can also be exciting, because you can be in a completely different place in a year, or less, but, just throwing out a year. So be coachable and be willing to see and do things differently. Be willing to invest in your desired results. So by invest, I mean effort, hope, time, and yes, money too. Just like with anything in life, things cost money. So you can, go for the free 99. You can go for the, I'll just do it myself. Sometimes that works out. For me, if it's things I really want to be good, I usually try to hire a professional. So when it comes to like things on my body, things in my home, vehicle, I'm not necessarily looking for the cheapest. Like, of course we need to be able to afford it, but there's just certain things we know that the cheaper it is, the quality is not always there. And, we can't have that mindset of wanting something for nothing. You can't want life-changing results and someone to turn your love life around. You've been single or whatever for years and years, and you want someone to help you heal your blocks, to address your traumas and help get your mind, your body, your spirit, all that right, your behavior, your mindset, and you don't want to step up to the plate. You don't want to put something on the line yourself. Doesn't work out that way. Doesn't work. So being willing to do that. I said don't waste time trying to DIY everything when there are experts out there who can assist you quickly and efficiently. So that is the benefit to working with an expert, is you get somebody who can fast track you. The same way, you know, you could paint your house yourself if you wanted, but the benefit to hiring a professional is they know what they're doing. They already have the tools and resources. You pay them, they get it done, and it's a good quality job. I mean, so it's really up to you. But, you know, like I said, certain things I would prefer not to DIY and struggle, especially if you've already been trying to DIY it. You know, you've already been working your own love life for years and years, and you see the results that you have. If you're not happy with them, then you already know basically what you're capable of from the place of knowledge that you have and the experience that you have. So, you know, don't leave yourself in struggle. Get someone in there, you know, who can help you. And yeah, the next thing I put was something I already said, which is basically choose intuitively, choose who resonates with you, who vibes with you, who you trust, and submit to the experience. And then, you know, get ready to be surprised. Get ready for a life-changing experience. Get excited. You know, it can be scary, but it can also be really exciting. So, yeah, the last thing, step number 7, learn about yourself. So one thing I want to say about relationships is they are great, but they are also mirrors, and they can be very triggering. So relationships are going to bring up all of your crap that you haven't dealt with, and your partner, we subconsciously are choosing people on an energetic vibe who are going to bring those things up for us that are going to trigger us, because our higher self, the part of us that is divine and greater than this human body and human experience we're in, knows that we want to heal and be better. And we pick somebody who's going to offer us that opportunity by triggering us. And if you're not aware that that's what's happening, you will blame your partner, and you'll switch from partner to partner to partner because you're being triggered or you're being upset, not realizing you're the common denominator. And these men that you're choosing keep showing you something in you that needs to heal. So part of being a good partner and actually having that relationship that you desire is introspection and doing inner work. So the more work that you do, you'll see which childhood wounds that you are trying to heal in relationship, or wounds from past relationships. It will become clear if you're looking for the patterns, and you'll actually recognize, like, hey, if I do the work on these, my partner and I will actually have a different dynamic. I won't be triggered in the same way, so we won't have the same problems. Sometimes the behavior that they're doing that is triggering you even goes away, because it was simply there to get your attention, to trigger you, to say, hey, this is uncomfortable, something needs to be done. Discomfort, anger, pain, those are all indications that something needs to be done, something needs to change, that what's going on isn't working. And it's not always with the other person. It's, you know, for us to do something, for us to look at something. Okay. You'll also learn as you do that inner work why you attract who you do, and why you are attracted to who you are attracted to. Okay. You'll learn what your triggers are and how to handle them. Okay. So these things you can learn in coaching, you can learn in therapy, you can explore some of that on your own. It helps, in my opinion, to have somebody who can listen to you talk about a situation and can point out a pattern that you may not be seeing, or can recall something that you shared previously and be like, hey, but didn't that happen with the last guy that you were with? And, you know, isn't this a running theme that you may not have thought about? And also learning the story that you've been telling about yourself that has created your life. So we all have a life story, a thought that's running through our mind about how we see ourselves, how we view life, how we view our human experience and our family, our friends, just how life is for us. We're all telling a story to ourselves, and you can change that story at any time. Sometimes, you know, when you're initially trying to change it, it feels fake. It feels like a lie. It's like, oh, I'm just saying that. Like, you know, affirmations, for example. If you're saying I am beautiful and you really don't feel that, it's programming. The reason that you don't feel it, it's not because it's not true. It's because you've been programmed to believe otherwise. you've been programmed by society and by thoughts that you've repetitively thought over and over that are the opposite. So of course it's going to feel uncomfortable and feel like a lie, but you have to be conscious that, hey, I've been believing a lie. So the lie feels true right now, but I'm trying to embrace a new story. I'm trying to drop that. I'm trying to open my mind, because I know, whether it feels true or not, I know that it is possible for me to have love. It's possible for me to see myself as beautiful and attractive and successful, and to have that job, to have that family, to have that house or life or whatever it is that you want. It's possible. There is no, as one of my favorite mentors says, there's no chalkboard in the sky that says you can't have this. There is no absolute rule that says it's for everyone else, but it's not for you. It's literally mental programming that you have to consciously work to change. And it can be done. Lots of people are doing it. Yes, it is work, but it is so worth it, because you're living limited. You're living a life that is a creation of those beliefs that are lies that you've been holding on to. And as soon as you're ready to release those and embrace something new, you can see a completely different reality for yourself. And lastly, just asking yourself, are you really ready? And what in your life shows you that you are ready for a relationship? Why or why not? Don't just settle on the yes or no. Look into why. If you feel like, oh, I haven't healed, from my ex, or I want to focus on my career, all of those things, like really explore, can you not do relationship and career at the same time? On your deathbed, are you going to be more fulfilled that you had the relationships in the family that you want, or that you made the strides in your career and the accolades? Or, do you want both? It's okay to want both. But it's a limiting belief that you can't possibly focus on both. You could, but a lot of times when people are shying away from relationship, it's because that's very triggering. It's going to require work, and it's easier to be alone. It's easier to do your own thing, to not have to answer to anybody, to not be triggered, to not have to deal with somebody else's baggage and your baggage, to have to compromise. It's easier, but it's also, there's also benefits, again, to having that partnership. So consider which is more important to you, avoiding the discomfort, or, being alone, and all of the extra stress and responsibilities that come with doing life alone or doing it outside of partnership. And just exploring, do you really want a relationship? Why or why not? And really look at that, unpack that, and that will help guide your journey. Most of us women, we want to be loved and cherished and adored, and we want to feel special and important, and we want that companionship. We want that masculine energy, that security. We desire that in our lives, and sometimes we haven't allowed ourselves to want it. Sometimes we've tried and it hasn't worked out well, so we're kind of a bit jaded or scarred from that experience. But if it's something that you desire deep down in your heart, don't hold it apart from yourself. Do what you have to do to peel those layers back, to heal those issues, and be open to it, because there's literally billions of people on this earth. There's got to be somebody for you in your area that you will run into, that will be put in your path. Are you ready? And are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to step up to the plate that is relationship? And the work that you'll do on yourself is just preliminary, because you'll continue to have to do work on yourself in relationship and then work on your relationship also. So it's basically like a prerequisite. Like, if you're not willing to do the work on yourself, then you won't be ready for a relationship. So that's all I have. I kept it at about an hour, so I'm pretty happy with that. And I hope that this was helpful. I was super excited to do this class. I feel like some really good stuff poured out of me. So I hope that this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if anything is unclear, if you want to explore anything more. And lastly, I'll talk about the offer that I have right now. So I have a community of women that I coach in a group, and the group is called Flex Your Femininity. And in that group, we deal with everything that I just talked about. So we talk about that and more. So we get into like the psychology of things, like your temperament types, and some of the thought patterns that lead us to attract certain relationships, how to alchemize certain relationships that feel toxic but that we can't let go of, how to deal with challenges in dating and in relationship and personal challenges. I do dating profile reviews, so looking at your profile and seeing why you're attracting who you're attracting and what can we change to maybe attract more guys or better quality. I offer one-on-one support via Messenger. So I do the 2 live trainings in the group each month. And then I also am available in the interim to provide one-on-one support. If you have questions or little crises that pop up, then I can help you troubleshoot. And then I also offer extended sessions. So those would be like an hour-long session on the phone at a reduced rate. So that is available if you are a member of Flex Your Femininity. Also post resources, so that would be books, meditations. I'm going to be bringing some experts in who will be offering like numerology, astrology, birth charts, crystal sales, things like that. I actually make some intention infused oils. I have some here. I actually made these for the business I have with my bestie called Golden Goddess, and this is one of the oils here. So those will be available as well. Candles, you know, the whole 9. So it's a really cool space. I've worked with a lot of the women in there one-on-one for quite some time, and it's a great community to be in where you're with like-minded women focused on healing, and it's less demanding of your time than a one-on-one coaching where we're meeting a couple times a week and having our sessions. I mean, if you want to design it to be that way where you have the group and then you have those sessions as an add-on, that's a possibility. But yeah, I mean, I would highly encourage it. I've done several group programs and I love the community vibe, being around other women. We're all elevating our vibe together. And it gives you an opportunity to work with a coach, especially if this is new to you, at a lower cost investment. So if you are interested, please DM me and I will be glad to share more and just kind of get a feel for if you'd be a candidate for being a member. You know, if it's not going to help you, or if you wouldn't be, I'll, you know, just flat out tell you. But most women who watch this, who are feeling compelled to know more, they, you know, are most likely, you know, going to be a fit, because I mean, who doesn't want to learn more about feminine energy and being magnetic and creating the relationship you desire, right? So with that, I will conclude this month's training, and thank you all for joining. Again, if you're watching the replay, please hashtag replay and let me know where you're watching from. And again, let me know if this was helpful or if you have any questions. I'm totally here for you. I love you all much. Until next time, take care. Bye.